The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
Okay, let's go.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hope you guys have had a good start to the week. Man, these weeks go by fast. I can't even believe it's Wednesday. Anyway, hey, sorry about missing yesterday. I had a business trip I had to take, so wasn't able to squeeze a pod in. And to be honest with you, felt a little run down the past few days. So I've tripled up on my Boost liquid vitamin shots. That's not a plug. I've really done that and tried to increase my water intake incredibly. I really do. Whenever I don't feel well, man, it's I don't know if I'm trying to drown it or just flush it out of my system. That's, I think, what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to flush it out of my system. Many people, I used to think it was flush it out of my system, but I believe it is flesh. No, it might not be actually. Maybe that is flush out of your system. Flesh it out is when you're trying to basically think through a problem and get all the details. You're trying to flesh it out. I thought that was flush it out, but then I looked it up a while ago and I think it is flesh it out. All right, I've wasted a minute on this nonsense. So today, check this out. I'm launching a new segment. It's called DSD in 5, Deep Shallow Dive in 5. So I'm literally going to do this episode in 5 minutes, and it is intended to catch you guys up on some aspect of this crazy world we're living in and get you more information on it later, but put it on your radar, and I'm going to literally do it all under 5 minutes. So today, I'm going to talk about AI and what's going on in AI. Since we last talked, gosh, I probably haven't really talked about artificial intelligence and what's taking place, in a minute. And so let me catch you up on some things. First of all, let's start with ChatGPT. ChatGPT, after going through some trials and tribulations with Sam Altman, their founder, getting fired, getting hired, getting fired, getting hired, and now he's back. Those guys are, man, they're really starting to hit their stride. And I will say I did get a paid subscription to ChatGPT to use their ChatGPT 4.0, and it's pretty incredible. They have now something called GPTs, where other companies are coming into the ChatGPT functionality and app and basically creating. The best way to think about it is honestly creating apps for ChatGPT. So it's almost like they've created their own app store where other companies and entities are they're leveraging the ChatGPT API, which is the back-end protocol, in order to create really cool things. So I'll give you an example. Oh, and then by the way, you as an individual, you can create your own GPT. So I have created a couple, and the one I use literally all the time, and I'm going to use it on this podcast, is I've created a GPT called Podcast Buddy. And what happens is, after I upload my episode into some software and get a transcript, I take that transcript and then I have coded my own Podcast Buddy GPT in order to spit out what they call the show notes or episode description. It's basically what comes up underneath the underneath the podcast in your podcast player. So if you're using Spotify or Apple, if you click on and see the text, all of that text below is called either show notes, or some people call it the episode description. But what's really cool is I've created this utility. I've created my own GPT inside ChatGPT. And so now I don't have to type all that out, which, by the way, that was a beast. That was crazy to have to type that stuff out. Took up a tremendous amount of time. Now I just get my transcript for the episode. I copy and paste it into my Podcast Buddy GPT and press enter. And boom, it spits out my show notes, and it's incredible. I just copy and then I copy and paste that, and I put it right into the the Spotify for Podcasters episode that I upload. So if you want to see what that looks like, take a look at today's episode. You can just go into your podcast app and wherever you see the text, hit more, and then you'll be able to see it. By the way, today's episode is going to go over 5 minutes because I'm using it as the explainer for Deep Shallow Dive in 5, but just know that from here on out, when I do these DSDs in 5, they're only going to be 5 minutes. Okay, let me catch up on 2 more things, and then that'll be it for today. So Google Bard, which was Google's, basically competitor to ChatGPT, that thing is just trash. It's really trash. Google is like, I don't know what they're doing with this, but they're not really doing a good job of it. And so they've completely rebranded it, and it is now called Gemini. So even though I did an episode back in the day about Google Bard versus ChatGPT, Google Bard is no longer in existence. It is now called Gemini. All right, moving on to Microsoft. Microsoft has definitely stepped up their game and entered the mix. They have a AI companion that's called CoPilot. So it's called CoPilot, and I would highly recommend downloading this onto your phone. It's pretty excellent, and it actually uses ChatGPT 4. So if you don't want to pay for ChatGPT 4, you can get really a lot of the functionality inside CoPilot by Microsoft. They've branded it as your everyday AI companion, and it does a really nice job. They have an incredibly good app for the phones. And by the way, that was another thing. Google Bard's app, or they didn't even have an app. I don't even think they have an app for Gemini yet. I'll take a look and have to get back to you on that. ChatGPT's app for the phone is also excellent, but I highly recommend trying out CoPilot. It's really cool. And then the last tool for today, there's a company called Perplexity, 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 Perplexity. Again, all this will be in the show notes. These guys are super cool as well. They're basically taking on Google search, and it is very, very well funded. You've got a lot of big players behind these guys, and I will say it's pretty good. That's another one that has an excellent app for your phone, and then it syncs obviously seamlessly with your account if you want to use a browser. But I'd highly recommend trying out Perplexity. I'd highly recommend trying out CoPilot. I'd highly recommend and have always recommended ChatGPT. As far as Gemini from Google, I don't recommend that right now. I don't think it's really any good yet, but I'll do some more research on that. And that's about it. So anyway, just a quick catch up on AI today. I've got some big things coming. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't think I've gotten lazy. I haven't. I promise. But I'm working on a couple things and filming a bunch more videos and all that jazz. So anyway, I'll catch up on some real news here on Thursday, I promise. But as for today, hopefully you got a little better understanding of some of the, main players in the AI app space. Again, to recap, ChatGPT, check it out. CoPilot from Microsoft, check it out. Perplexity, check it out. Gemini from Google, do not check it out. All right, everybody, call a spade a spade. We'll talk to you Thursday.
This episode was brought to you by Boost Liquid Vitamins. Wake up, take your Boost, start your day. Drink your vitamins, build your immune system with Boost. Available on Boost.com.